I welcome you all to the ICF travel series Break Free. Today is our session number 11, and the topic is what it's like to hitchhike, volunteer, and live beyond the borders of money. And Shubhra Mittal is our speaker for today. I will leave the introduction part to Shubhra herself so that she can tell us more about herself and then tell us more about the session and about her journey in the past few years. So over to you, Shubhra.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shubhra Mittal. So, I am a traveler hitchhiker, and I have been living like this on the roads, on hitchhiking and volunteering in various places from last 4 years. It has been a really amazing experience because people say that money is one thing which we can't live without, and I wanted to take a challenge that I wanted to live beyond this entity, that no, money can't, money can be a part of our life, but money can't be the whole purpose of your life. So that I wanted to change, and that I wanted to first see if there is a world where you can live like this. So I found out, yes, there is, where you can barter your skills with your food and accommodation, and that is actually anyone anytime need the food and accommodation. Rest all is just our wishes, our uh, dreams, but our actual need is just accommodation and food, which you can barter against your skills. So let me first start with the whole structure. Let me introduce you about how I come to this platform and why I'm here in front of you to speak about it. So, uh, I have been honored to be a human book because this journey has given me this privilege that I can talk about my story and I can tell other people that how they can be free, they can do hitchhiking, they can do volunteer, and they can barter their skills and live like a free person and think beyond the borders of just money or houses or cars or just small things, like small mindset. They can think beyond that. So that was my purpose, and that is what I'm chasing. And with human books, it's a concept that library of diversity has acknowledged, where people are converted into human books, and I have been converted into a human book and doing sessions. So, and also, I'm sorry, I'm little this thing, this is, I'm going on stage after a long time. I'm sorry. So another thing that has been a part of my life is peace through tourism. So there is this organization which creates this events where people from all walks of life come and create a dialogue about how we can induce peace in the world through tourism. So I have been given this honor to become India's ambassador for this chapter, and we have been doing events. Like, because of Corona, we have to stop, but we have been doing events, and this has been a really amazing experience to go and talk about peace and think and see a world where we can induce world peace with tourism. So that has been done. So let me give you a small background story so you'll know where I'm coming from and why I've chosen this path. So I was born in a very small town called Bathinda, Punjab, where people's mindset are even smaller. People think either a girl can become a doctor or an engineer, and their life should be revolve around marriage or kids, and that's it. There should be no looking out, because women are not meant to be there. Women are meant to be in the kitchen. As a kid, I was always a rebellious one, and I didn't agree with anything. I was the kid who questions everything. Why? So my mom was like, it's your favorite word. Why is this? Why is that? Why? If she'll say ki you have to make chapati, you have to make bread. So I'll say ask my brother also, because this is matlab, we both have to matlab, do it, otherwise I'll not do it. So I was a rebellious kid, so I think this was matlab, always foreseen that I'll do something which would be against the common norms. So when I was growing up, there was two choices given to me: either you can become engineer or doctor. So I have a twin brother who chooses to become an engineer. I didn't want the competition, so I choose to be a doctor. I became a dentist while I was studying. In my internship, I was not liking it at all, to be honest. It was really, I liked the practical part, I never liked the theory. I like the learning part of it, but I never liked to be a dentist. I thought it was really boring job and it won't suit me. So in my internship, I get to know about this amazing journey. Karen Miles should listen to this very closely, because this journey is called Jagriti Yatra, where people from around India and the world, some 50 people from outside, they join into an entrepreneurship journey and go beyond, go to 15 cities in India and meet various entrepreneurs, and they have to live in a train. So that is the part. And people, 500 people who are below 30 or 35, they live, they combine, they make new ideas living in a train, and it's an amazing journey. So this journey literally changed my life. That was my first, like, flip, I would call it. So that journey made me realize that I don't have to become a dentist. There is so many things in the world that I could do. So this was like an eye-opening thing, that world is not this small, world is this much big, and I could be anything I want. Matlab, this is just matlab, this stereotype was broken, that I could be just one or two things. I could be many things. So when I came back, I completed my internship and I went for another. There is this really cool job in India, where Indian government and German government, they have combined to make a train. Again, it's a train. Make a train, which is an exhibition train. It goes for 6 months every year. It didn't go last year because of Corona, but hundreds of thousands of people will come to see this. So it was a government job for 6 months, just a small project. So I went with them and we went to 57 cities in 6 months. So I went to the rurals of India where the train could possibly reach, and met hundreds and thousands of people. And I realized that world is so big that it should be, I should see more of it. India is so beautiful that I would want to, like, travel whole of my life just in India only. It doesn't even matter if I'll go outside or not, but India is so big, one life is less for it. So when I after that project, I was offered a job in Mumbai in a startup, which was not earning much that time because it was really starting, and really few months of hard work and struggle, not just by me but the whole team. We worked really hard. We gathered, like, we were able to raise $15 million. So it was so much money, that, and so much of hard work paid off, that we were well off that time. So the hunger for money, like, I was coming from a humble family, not much money was there when I was growing up. So for a girl like that, it was like a dream come true. Okay, I have a job, I have a dream job where I'm working my ass off and I am getting good pay for it. So from my first void, like the first dream of my parents, it was done. Like, she became a doctor, now she's earning good. So that's fine for them, that was fine. But for me it was not. So it went on for a few years. I worked in India, in Thailand, in Malaysia, for an Indian company, US company, and it was going fine till it stopped going fine, till it went into some south direction, and I realized that this is not what I want. Okay, everyone kept saying that money will solve all your problems, and there I was sitting in a foreign country. I had money, I had good job, but the job was literally sucking my time. I didn't have time for myself or for anything for that matter. They'd call me anytime because I was a slave. I was a money slave, and they actually owned me because they were paying for it. So I was literally paying, selling my time, selling my life to someone who I might not even like that much. So I later realized. So yeah, so it was not just a day of like transformation. So we are going into the next section, like why it started. So when I was into those jobs and thinking about time and thinking about the value of life, because I was alone a lot of time. Either I was in office or I was alone. And when you're alone and you have lots of money, but you don't have time to spend with your friends, you go shopping. So I keep on, matlab, if you're sad, you go shopping. If you're happy, you go shopping. Matlab, gathering dresses, gathering things which I might not wear anywhere, because I'm just matlab, filling a void which I don't even know there is, and I don't know how to fill it. But I was just doing all those things, buying things. And later I realized that with all these things, I was not happy with all my expensive dresses, accessories, and vacation. Even when I was traveling that time, I was traveling because when you have money, you travel in a different way. When you can pay for all the things, sometimes you don't value them. And that was exactly what I was doing. I went to a really beautiful beach hotel and kept sitting in the pool watching the beach, but didn't went into it for 3 days. Just kept looking at it because I didn't feel like. So I was like, traveling is also ruined because of this. Matlab, everything is ruined. Matlab, there's nothing, nowhere there is fun. Even vacations are not fun. So something need to be changed. So after a few months of juggling, I realized that time is one of the biggest entity in the world. So it was it, even if you have the even if you have the most money in the world, even if you're Elon Musk, you can't buy time. You might buy good time, but you can't buy time. So it will not come back. So if I'm not using my time how I want, and if I've sold it for money, I'm losing something, because money is less than time. So when this whole fact weight of this whole fact dawned on me, I realized that I need to go for time, not for money. I'm going into the wrong direction. I quit my job. There was some little money left, so I thought, ki, what is the first thing? What is the biggest thing that I'm feared of? I'm a little claustrophobic, so I was scared of scuba diving. So the little money I left, I went for a 1 week scuba diving certification, and it scared the shit out of me, literally. And like I was pissing my pants, and on second day I was like, I don't want to go into the water. The pool was fine, I don't want to go into the ocean. This is suffocating. In a big bubble box, glass box, they'll suffocate me and I'll die only. But this really amazing cool instructor, she talked to me and she gave me that motivation talk that so this motivation talk that do it. I told her this, that I'm going through this transformation period and I need some energy, and she gave me that. I went through, and in my last dive, I was like 3 hours under the water, and myself from my biggest fear, that is death. So now I can be anything I want. I can have anything I want, and I will have whatever I want. So I packed one bag, whatever I could fit in one bag. I got other rest all things. I just told my landlord that please donate this thing, or you, if you want to keep, you can keep it. Your wish. I came back to India and started traveling. And like in the starting days, there was like little money left, so I would pay for my food, but still I was volunteering with hostels. I volunteered in our hostels, Bird House hostels, and Tripping Himalayas. Lots of hostels I volunteered with, and I realized that this is a really stable way to live while traveling. Like you volunteer to volunteer from one place to another, and you keep on giving your skills uh, in exchange of accommodation and food, and you can hitchhike for your traveling. That is your two biggest expensive: accommodation, food, plus your travel from one place to another. So you can hitchhike. But the journey of hitchhiking, like, it was not easy. It was hell scary, especially for like women in India. Like, we have been raised with this fear that world is bad and world wants to hurt us. Every time we'll step out of our homes, our moms or dad will say the world is bad. Okay, so keep an eye open. Be careful where you're sitting, what you're saying. Be presentable in your clothes and everything. And when I started hitchhiking, obviously you have to, like, trust. There is so much trust in hitchhiking, because in first 5 or 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, like 5 minutes only, when the person will take their glass down, you have to judge that if this is safe or not. And when you're starting your journey, it's really scary. So I used to, like, put my bag in my lap, or used to, like, put one hand on the, like, lock, that if something will happen, my bag is with me, I'll just open it, I'll jump. Yeah, I'll not die, I know for sure, and I'm a medico, I can heal myself, but I'll jump. But to my shock, like, it's been 4 years and there was not a single experience of any kind of misbehave. Like, I was expecting that there would be many. I'm still expecting. Matlab, every time I'll go, there is one like nerve cell in my head which always expects that something bad will happen. But, like, there is so much kindness and so much awesomeness, I would say, in the world. Like, doesn't even know how awesome it is. Matlab, they always see the negative part. They keep on seeing, matlab, focusing on negative things, and they don't see. Every time some person will give me a hitchhike, they'll say, see, you're a girl. They'll want to advise you. They all like it so much. Okay, so they'll say, see, I'm giving you a hitchhike because I am a good person, but the world is very bad. Don't do this, don't hitchhike. And every host will say the same thing and will give a hitchhike. I was like, dude, I know, this is not a truth. The world wants to believe it ki I am good, but the world is bad. So this is like this is just so funny. It makes me laugh now ki how people do it. And in hitchhiking, like, people are so kind. They'll take you home. They'll feed you. They'll, like, truck drivers. They'll there are few, like, they'll give you a hand. You'll sit on the next seat, and immediately they'll ask, "Did you eat anything? This is banana. This is apple. Eat. You are very thin. You'll die. You're small. I'm just 5'1". So for them, I'm like a small girl, like, with a big bag and, like, traveling and alone, and she seems like mad or something. So, like, sometimes they'll stop out of curiosity ki who is this mad girl, like, going into this raw place where there's no one and she's alone. So they'll ask, is there someone with you? Why you're alone? Do you have any money problems? Do you have any issue? Do you need any help? We'll help you, if you are in need. I say, no, I like doing it, that why I'm doing this. When I'll tell them that I have education and everything, they're like, matlab, why you have to do this? You have education, you can go and you can earn so much money. If you need job, I'll give you a job. I'll help you. I said, no, I don't need a job. I had jobs, I don't want it. So it's a very difficult thing to make them understand that why I'm doing this. My parents, still they can't explain anything. If someone will ask them what your daughter does, they'll open my LinkedIn account, they'll open my Instagram account, they'll say, read. They don't know how to explain it. And it's a funny thing in, like, in my society now. They have, like, accepted me. In my family, they have accepted me like she's like that only, and we can't do anything. So either we accept her, or she'll just go, or she'll not, anyway she's going, so if we'll accept it, she'll go happily go, or if we'll not accept it, she'll be happy only, we'll be suffering. So they know that I keep myself happy, like that much I know. So this is a weird thing in India. So the next part is we are going to talk about like how over. Oi, no, sorry, there are dogs around. So overcoming social and mental barriers. So yeah, it was the mental barriers are, I think, more tougher because they are your own. Like social barriers, unless you can still block people, block their opinions, but how you'll block your own opinion, because there sometimes you'll doubt yourself. So in the starting days, there were days when I'll be like like there is a mountain desert, cold deserts in India, Spiti Valley. So I spent a long time in Spiti Valley hitchhiking and walking a lot. So there was time that I was walking alone. So much sun, like in June, July. There's hard this sun and no water because they are cold deserts and chilly winters, and I'm just going alone, and I'll doubt myself that why am I doing this? All my friends, all my colleagues, all my cousins, they are just chilling in their lives. They are working and they are using that money to live and be in comforts. Why am I putting myself in discomfort? So that is the kind of mental barrier you get, because you question yourself and you keep questioning. Every time there is a struggle, there is some like you break somewhere, they you start doubting yourself that is this a right call? Did you did you take the right decision? Are you seriously losing your marble, like how everyone is saying, or you know what you're doing? So that is the time when you take the next step, you go to the next level, because then you make yourself understand, you motivate yourself that why you're doing this, why you make yourself recognize the reasons that you have started, that why you don't want to sit in a desk and work, but you want to be out there. So there is a reason you chose it, and you have to remind yourself. So that mental barrier, crossing that mental barrier, I think it's the toughest thing. Like the first step when you are coming out of your comfort zone, like when I was resigning, when I was coming back to India, the first few days, first few months, they are the toughest, because you still have that lingering money, plus you still have that lingering jobs where you can go back, and they keep calling you that it's easy, it's a comfortable life, so come back to us, and you'll have a comfort, you'll have a Netflix, you'll have a comfortable couch, and you can sit and eat on it and just chill. But you realize that you don't want that chill, you want this chill, because this chill, it comes with no condition. This chill comes with freedom of doing whatever you want, saying whatever you want to say, and going wherever you want. So that chill doesn't come with that, because they own you, and in this life you own yourself, no one else. So that is the most amazing part of it, like freedom in India, but in world only, we have this notion, illusions of freedom. We think we are free, but in lots of ways we are bound by certain either responsibilities or certain notions, or we are just binded by in our own head, that what will people say, or how am I coming forward as a person. And that is when you start constricting yourself, that I should not say this, I should not wear this, I should not go there, or if I'll choose to become a traveler after becoming a successful person, they'll think I'm not successful enough, or I'm insane or something. And I have been called insane. Like people they'll not think twice that their words can actually hurt someone, and they'll call, oh, this is insane. You must be an insane person to do this. Yes, I think all the great people are insane only. Albert Einstein was insane, and I think I'm happy that I'm insane. I don't want to be a sane and a normal person. They're boring. I'll get bored in a day or two. I won't be able to live that life. So I'm insane and I'm happy. And I think matlab, instead of going insane for a bigger house or bigger car, I think I'm going insane for nature, or I'm going insane for talking to everyone in the world. I think that is a good insanity to have. And I think no one should, people should be more insane than I think people. There is more so many sanity that the world is fucking up. So then we need more insanity. So world will be a more chill place. World will just chill out, and there'll be less hate, na. So yeah. So to the next section, that is managing the basics. I think I've covered most of it. Key how you can keep finding places to volunteer, like one after another. You can actually make a whole map. Key, okay, from one place to another, then another to another. You can plan the whole thing. I don't plan because my energies are so high. My universe keeps on getting me amazing things. So there are two ways: either you plan or you can just attract things. So I'm a big believer of law of attraction. So there is this phenomena that whatever you want, if you really, really wish for it and if you act on it, you'll get it. So your universe, there are some energies working. Either you call it a religion, either you call it a spirituality. So there are energies working in the world, and if you really want something and if you really put up honest effort, you get it. And I have been getting so many things, like platforms that I didn't even know that they exist, but they just somehow found me. This life, it has found me. I wanted to have something like this, but I didn't know this existed. But this came to me just like that, with so many opportunities, so many houses. Wherever I go, I make a home, and people call back, keep on calling me back, that come back to us, or we'll find some guy for you and we'll make you marry here only. So this is the kind of energies I get wherever I go. So now I say, like, people say, you don't have a home, you're a nomad. I say I have hundreds. Everywhere I go, there is a home. There are relatives, friends, families, and who are waiting for me, that I'll go again. I'll with some more knowledge, with some more talks. So and in a way, I have seen, when you buy something with money, they'll give you that much only. If you buy 2 eggs, they'll give you 2 eggs only. But when you're living like this, and they just want to make you happy, so they'll give you 4 without exchange of anything, because that's how you are. That's how they just like to be with you, because they know you don't want anything, because the money is the biggest thing. They are threatened that someone will take their money. So when they know me, they'll know that I don't want their money. I don't give a damn about it. So if I don't give a damn about it, so I can't harm them in any way. So they're chill. So they are happy, and that's why. And they know, they keep me happy, they keep me spoiled. So my friend who I'm staying here, she has a homestay, and she, like, we have made a amazing relationship, because when she was starting this place, we met, we cleaned this place, I lived here for a month, we painted the place and made it into a homestay. And so there's this deep connection, and these connections comes only when there is no conditions, when there's no exchange of money or exchange of things. This pure emotions, this pure love, and pure kindness, empathy. And you just work as if it's your place. Sometimes people get confused that, is it your place? So I would say, no, I'm just a volunteer. But they could feel that energy, that it belongs to me, that I am so much invested into any place I volunteer. I'm so much invested into it. So that is the, I think, key of it, to become a good volunteer, that you have to give, like, your blood, soul, energy, everything into it. And if you do it really bigger with a clean heart, I can assure anyone who wants to try this, well, they'll get lots of opportunities. Because see, everybody is looking for good people to help, because everybody has been duped, everybody has been cheated. once or twice in their life or many times, and they all want a ray of hope. And when people like me, or there are lots of people like me who volunteer like this, and when these volunteers come, they give a hope that there is humanity. There are people who doesn't really give a damn about money. They just want to have a good time, and they just want to help, just because they are human to human. There's no gender involved. There's no race involved. There's nothing involved, and just human to human, just soul to soul. So yeah, so if anyone of you would ever want to volunteer, matlab, there is no age barrier, by the way. So you could have any skill in the world, and you can barter that skill for accommodation and food, and people will be happy to have you. They'll keep you for more. If you say 10 days, they'll keep you for 20, and they'll not leave you. They'll let you leave with tears, and they'll love you like anything. They'll keep on calling you that come back and help us again, because that's how it is. Matlab, that is the awesome thing about traveling and volunteering like this. So next, like, there's this last section left, that is finding ways how to find places to volunteer. Well, I would say the easiest thing is ask. So like, people don't ask only, they assume so much that they'll not give, for so reason they'll open up, they'll keep their insecurities out in front of them and choose one, that because of this I'll not get chosen. So they'll not ask only. So I would say ask. If you like some place and if you want to be there, just ask them ki, if you're looking for volunteers, I have so and so skills and I can help you with that, and whatever is your limit. I have cleaned utensils also, I have cleaned toilets also, so it doesn't matter. For me, it's work is work. It's nothing small or big. But you can tell them what is your limitations, and they'll tell you if they have any work or not. So yeah, I think I've said everything about from my outline, because I'm a very fast talker. So I would like to invite some questions while I'll generate more things to talk about.
Sure,
Hi, Vivek.
Deepti. Yeah, sure, Deepti. It was nice listening to you. And we have Deepti from Sri Lanka. So, Deepti, would
Okay.
you like to share something like your feedback, any queries about the
Well,
session?
actually, I have a question for Shubhra. You mentioned right at the beginning, Shubhra, that you are 6,000 feet above sea level somewhere. So where are you, and can you tell us a little bit about how you got there?
Yeah, I'm in Bahu. This is a small homestay of my friend. You can't see. I think it's cloudy. There's
Can
little
see.
snow.
We can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Bahu in Himachal. So Bahu is in Siraj Valley. It's a very remote. There are only 20 odd houses and 2-3 homestays. That's it. So it's a very secluded place. And this woman who is running this place, she's from Mumbai. So when I met her, it was like, this was her first day, and she was like she was excited, but she was also shaken up because she was all alone. And we became instant friends. And we came to this place and we saw the state, because this house used to be a like like there are village bars now. There are no bars in the village, but there are houses, empty houses where people go and drink. So this house was, there was puke, and there was spit and drinks and everything on the floor. So this was so dirty. So I cleaned this house with her, and that's how we became friends. And now this is like a home, so I keep on coming back. And it has been like amazing, to have like such relationship beyond your blood. She's a Muslim, I'm a Hindu. It doesn't even matter to me. Matter to us. We are like sisters, and we like, whenever, even if I'm far, she'll call me and she'll tell me everything about her life. This is happening, this is happening, this is boggling me, or this is like, I'm happy. So this is amazing, like how travel takes you to places and make homes for you.
Right.
Yeah, we also have.
So do you find this? Sorry.
Yes, Deepti, please go ahead.
No, I was just asking Shubhra if Does this happen often to you that, on when you're on your travels, you meet complete strangers and you bond with them, and then they
Yeah.
become a part of your life?
Yeah, they has been, I call them like, now I have relatives all over India, or people all over world, because they just adopt you. Like if you are a person like me, I'm a happy person, and I have like limited needs. They can see like, I don't want anything, so they become instant friends, and they are like, I tell stories, I tell everywhere I sit, I tell stories, I make them laugh, so they become instant friends, and they keep on like talking to them even when you are gone. And now I have like friends who will just call me to check up on me and ask me when you're coming back. So they'll scold me now, ki, when you're coming back, it's been such a long time, you have been roaming around so much and you're not coming to us. Okay, we are noting this down. So they'll hold a grudge that you're not coming back. So this is like such, no other way, you can make such friends that you make in traveling. There's no other way. Like people really connects with you because they think you don't want anything from them. So there are sometimes like people will come and they'll tell you their darkest, deepest secrets, because they think you can't harm them, you don't want to harm them, and finally they can tell someone, so they'll tell you. So I am holding so many secrets, like I have forgot the person and remember the secret. But this is amazing, like how in traveling, like you meet hundreds of people. But if you want to, you can meet 10 people daily. If someone wants to, they can meet 10. Like I go, like now after this call, I'll go to watch the sunset in like 10 minutes walk from here. So I'll go and I'll talk to every dog, every animal, every human I meet. On the way, I'll just say namaste, I'll say hello, and we'll just like, how are you, and we'll just share greets. So in remote places, you can do that. You can talk to just anyone, and they'll start talking to you. If they like you enough, they'll take you home. You come, have a tea, we'll eat something. So yeah, this is amazing.
What sort of places have you volunteered at?
All kinds of, in all kinds, from becoming a volunteer manager to becoming a like how to handle their whole social media, or to build their social media. Like sometimes I'll go to some remote village where they don't even know what social media is, so I have to tell them. Or sometimes I, even after going back, I keep on putting like some posts every few weeks on their social media pages, because they don't know how to. So if I'll get a query, I'll just pass it to them. See, some person wants to come, and you just take care of them. But yeah, all kinds of volunteering, all over India I have volunteered. And I didn't, since I've become a full-time traveler, I have not traveled outside India. But yeah, I want to travel the whole world, and I want to volunteer everywhere. And like, every place is a new opportunity, new people, new place, and new vibes to see and absorb. So yeah, this is like as diverse as I want. I volunteer.
I have a question.
Yes,
Yeah,
Chetna.
Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can.
Yeah, you can. It's absolutely fascinating what you've just shared with us, and thank you so much for doing that. What I want to know is that, every individual has a different journey. Yours actually started in a traditional, conventional way. You got your education, you did the jobs, and then you chose to come to this life, which is your choice. Now, what would you say to a young person, one of them being my son who's on the screen, Kiran? What would you say to a young person who wants to go in a way that you have chosen to go? How should they go about it?
So I would say first, find a skill. Like skill you can barter, because that's the very first part. Like when you start talking to someone about volunteering, and you're choosing where you want to go, and you would have, if you would have already have a skill on hand, you can like upfrontly tell ki this is my skill, or if you are ready to do anything, you have to tell them upfront. So yeah, matlab, having a skill, because even if you are not volunteering and you are traveling, you want to continue this whole life, so this could be a money source in the future. Like now I get paid for paid for freelancing. I write as a writer. I get paid for freelancing. It's not much, but it's fine. I can live without money also, so I spend, my expenditure is negligible only. So you can live for longer times, you can like have choices also. Luxury of choices comes with money, so you can, so having a skill is really important. Plus, matlab, if you really want to do this, you have to have a reason ki why you want to do this. Matlab, you want to just travel or you want to volunteer. Because if you want to just travel, so volunteering is a matlab, hard work, because there are some days that you matlab, like for 2 3 days or a week maybe, you'll not get to go out at all because there's so much work and they need help. So if you are not ready to do that, you want traveling, you don't want volunteering. So you have to choose what kind of uh, traveling you want, only traveling or volunteer traveling. So this is also very important, to have a clear picture what kind of this you want. Hitchhiking is easy. Matlab, you just have to stick your thumb and you just have to know a little, at least have some knowledge. Matlab, maybe not Google, but talk to local people, like to your hitchhiker host only. You can ask, and they'll help you with the little map that whatever is your destination, you have to cross these villages or these places. So like, even if you don't get a straight hitchhike till the last place, you can get small hitchhikes. So you can ask for small places, and they'll know that you know. You're not just a total stranger, because then it's just an easy prey. So if you know where you want to go, it's very easy and it's very confident. So, and confidence is the key. Even if you don't have, fake it till you make it. So that is very important, to show that you, when you are hitchhiking, if you are scared, and if they can sense you are scared, things can change. And when they can sense that you have something to fear about, their feelings about you can change. So even if you are scared shitting bricks, just sit like you own the place, you know what you're doing. Like I used to tell people, like I'm a journalist, because when you are a journalist, they know that someone is waiting for an article somewhere, so they can't kill you. So so yeah, somehow you have to give yourself confidence. So yeah, whatever it is.
Right. But it sounded like you had to kill your own fear first before you embarked on
Yeah,
this. When you,
that is,
yeah, which
see,
is
you
what you
have to
talked about
conquer
in your.
yourself. Yeah. You have to conquer yourself first before you start conquering the world. So you can't conquer it without you conquer yourself. So
Great.
that
Well
is
said. Thank you. Yes. Thanks a lot.
thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Jyotirmay had a related question about fear when we were talking about
Yeah.
going scuba diving and you were underwater for 3 hours. So he has a related question whether that fear of death
Yes.
is gone. Have you crossed over? Jyotirmay, you want
Oh
to?
yeah. So no. So it's like, see, you brought the word fear. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, there's this word in Hindi or Bangla, atikram. Have you been able to cross over, in the sense, because the way you're talking. See, you come across as somebody who's remarkably bindas and free. Okay. So no, it's very interesting. I got very emotional
Yes.
listening to some parts of your this thing. So I'm just saying, have you been, so today, I'm asking a rather, maybe it's crass or crude question. If somebody comes and hurts you or maybe kills
Mm.
you, I think
Mm.
actually, I have answered my question. If something like that happens, it's a loss to us, not to you. The person who's dead, it's no more a loss to them.
I'm
No,
already living for this.
because
Yeah.
the way you are living is scary for a lot of us, I would say.
Yeah.
The way,
I could say
you
it is.
understand, where I'm coming
Yeah.
from and my question. So I hope,
Yeah.
you can sort of, yeah. So
So
let
the
me,
thing is, I have not crossed over.
okay.
I have just realized this fact that I don't have control over my death or anyone's death. So any moment can be my last. Matlab, there is a meteor that could come like right this moment, I'll die. So that's why I have chosen this life, that I want to live every moment like it's my last key. Next moment, if I'll die, I'll not have any regrets. If next moment I'll die, I'll not have any regrets. So if when you start living like that, you don't have fear of anything. Ki, matlab, it's okay. The most harm they could do is they could take your life. That's it. Like I write about politics also. I write about lots of social issues. So I get threats. In India, we get rape threats very easily. See, so because they think this is the thing they can scare you with. So, but matlab, this is like, matlab, now I think matlab, the max they could do is they could kill me. But every moment, whatever I'm doing in this life, it should be so worthy that if they could kill me next moment, my voice will linger on for longer times. And that is what I'm creating here. Such a strong voice that will linger on. I don't have to be alive for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we also have Anna Bharti Paul and Devanand Paul from Bangladesh, Dhaka. So, like, they are a couple, and if they want to, I know Devanand Paul is an avid traveler. So, do you have any? Yeah, Devanand, any questions from you? You are on mute. You are on mute.
Sorry, I was listening to the entire thing. So this thought is going in my mind also for the last 2 to 3 years. So I work for Unilever, based in Bangladesh. So this thought, because I crossed 50 and I was just thinking like how long you keep on doing this morning to evening work and totally stressed out. So, and whenever I want to travel, sometimes the last minute your leave gets cancelled also. So nothing is in your hands. So, this thought is going in my mind, and probably in a year or two, probably I should be also traveling. So that is what is my plan. So,
like life is, what Corona has taught every one of us is like life is too short, and there could be so many viruses coming for us in the next few years. Real or not, we don't even know. So that is the scary part. If they are real or not, and we can't assume. So we have to live every moment. It's our last only, because you don't know. There is so much stupidity going on in the world right now. So yeah, if you are thinking about it, please go for it. Start with small travels. Start with work from home, or start with like having extra skill in the side which you can like freelance and keep on filling the whatever the money responsibility part you can keep on filling and still traveling. So find time. It's running like anything. We can't chase it. We can just live it. So just live it. So chasing is anyway out of question. So live it as soon as you can, as much as you can.
Thank you.
Come to India. Come on, India is so big. There's so many things. You can for the rest of your life, you can keep on traveling. Still, India is like every day you can open your eyes in a different bed, in a different place, in a different landscape.
No, I've traveled quite well in India also. A lot of places.
There's so much.
Yeah. Yes.
There's so much. I'll tell you more places. I'll tell you new places.
We are from India.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you are from India.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we are from India as well. Yeah.
I'm currently working there. So
we are working in Bangladesh.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. But India is so big. See, in one life only. India, you can't see India in one life. I believe there's so many things, so much to see. So yeah, keep on traveling. Please go for it.
True.
Take a partner, take your kids. It's very important. Like they keep on emphasizing that teach your kids coding. I would say teach your kids survival. Teach your kids how to make a fire, because in future an apocalypse is coming, like climate change and corruption and corona and so many things. Now they're going to make a big bad world, and to survive that they have to learn survival, real wild survival things, because that is the place where they can be sane. in the world which is going right now in the below world, in planes, it's a mess. So whenever they'll want to go out, they'll have to go in the wild, and if they don't know how to survive it, it would be really bad. So it's as parents, as grandparents, parents, it's your responsibility to teach them survival in the wilds, because they'll need it, and they'll blame on you that you never taught them. You taught them only phones and screens and how to type and uh, how to count money. They can't eat money at the end.
So true.
Yeah.
Love your words and your thoughts. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Any other questions? So I'll just.
Where can we reach you? Like, is there any? You're in Facebook or
Reach
Twitter?
me on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite platforms. So Shubhra Mittal, you can find me, and we'll talk. And yeah, if you'll have questions later, you can reach me there and we'll talk. You can find me on Instagram, like where is Shubhra. So you'll type where is Shubhra, so Shubhra will appear. So you'll know.
Oh, definitely, because I'll be in touch with you sometime later.
So if I want to talk about one very important topic which I forgot. So there is this very common question I have been asked, like how your parents behave to this, how your parents have accepted this, because in India it's a wide notion that you have to be well mannered and you have to be doing well off things with money, or you have to be married by a certain age. Like I'm 29, for them it's like I'm old, I'm an old lady now, so I'll never get married, or I'll have a lady with cats. So that's how they see you, because when you turn 25 you have to get married. But see, in our house, like my father have struggled to for our education, for everything, because when we were growing up he was also struggling. So we have seen him seen his struggles, we have seen his rise, and we have learned from it that we have to make our own path. This much was clear to everyone of us, ki whatever path you choose, you have to make it your own. Whether you earn 10 rupees or 10,000, you eat according to that. So that we have established in our house, that if you can't control someone's finances, you can't control them. So after college, me, my brother, we have been financially independent from them. Whatever we earn, we eat. Like we send home also, but we don't take from home. So if you are not taking from home, that means you are free to choose things. They'll obviously not like it, but they can't stop it. So when you have this much liberty, you take more liberty. So we keep on pushing them. I keep on changing lifestyles, and every time they'll say that she has lost her marbles, and why you have to do this. There'll be fights and everything. But with the years and years of conversations in our house, we are very open to conversations. Like we all sit together, we talk to each other straightforward. We call spade a spade. This is how I want to, this is what I'm doing. I'm not taking anything from you, so please don't apply those social rules on me, otherwise our communication will be less. So they know that, because we have been living outside our home after 10th standard, so they know if we already live outside, if they'll not be happy with us, the communication will decrease. So they fear that thing, and we also obviously fear that thing. So because of that, now we have accepted each other as who we are, and we don't tell anyone how they should live, what they should do, what they should eat. And we have made them use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, so they can educate themselves. They can see that the world is big. They can see the comments, like what the comments I get whenever I give talks or whatever I write. So they can see, now they can read that maybe she's not that mad, maybe she's doing something good only. If so many people are appreciating, maybe this is good only. So now when relatives or someone will come and they say, we saw her video or we saw her picture, and she's so awesome. She's writing and she's traveling. Like we wish we could live like her. Now they think, okay, now this is good only. Now she's fine. She's doing something good. But yeah, this like you have to teach your parents. You have to, like, whoever is going through this same thing, and as a parent also, you have to open communication with your kids. If you want your kids to be extraordinary, give them space at least to be extraordinary. So talk to them, ask them things, and give them this freedom that they could make mistakes. Like I have done, like I'm done lots of mistakes, started over again and again in lots of things. But one mental support was with me, that my parents, they'll not think of me less. They'll always say, it's okay, it happens. You are a Malay, like I'm a Punjabi, my father will say, you're a Sher Putter, you're a tigress, you are a lioness. So you don't quit. You get up and you conquer whatever it is. So that is what we believe in, and that's how we have, like, opened this communication center, and now we are a cool family. We are the coolest family you'll know. Our societies will, they envy our family ki how cool these people are, how chill out they are, so open to communication, and they're accepting each other like how they are. So yeah, you can be cool families too. You can just open communication with your kids now. Let them talk. You talk to them. But even if you find them doing mistakes, find why they have done it, and like open the channels for them to do good or bad things. Let them decide if what is good for them and what is bad, because eventually they have to live with it. Like I know ki if I'm choosing all these things, I have to live with it, not my parents. So if I am in a corporate job in a setting where I am not happy, I have to live with on my own body. They just have to live it mentally. I have to live it on my own body na. So let me decide. So let them decide ki what they want their body to go through with. So yeah, any more questions, please?
Yeah, thanks, Shubhra. Karen, we have heard from your mother. Any comments from you?
From me, yeah. It's actually about the subject of conquering yourself before conquering the world, actually.
Okay.
What for you? I mean, I know the methods are different according to each person, but for you personally, like what was your what was your, not your method, but how did you go? What steps did you go through in conquering yourself? And what questionings did you go through, like, and to make that leap?
So I think the very first question is, very first thing is to accept that you are not happy. Like sometimes you just keep on living in a delusion that you are happy, and like everything is in control. But if it's not, first you have to accept that this is not in control. Then only you'll be able to control it. First you have to think that, okay, my head is a mess, and now I accept it that it's a mess and I want to resolve it. Then that is the first step towards resolving it, towards conquering yourself, because you realize that you are out of control. You may think that I do whatever I want, but you're not. You're controlled by your external environment. Accepting that would be the first step. Yes, I have been controlled by my social environment, by others' thinkings, by others' ideologies. Like when you're growing up, there are so many things that has been put into your head. So realizing that some of them are not acceptable, and you have to unlearn it. So that is the first step towards conquering yourself. Then I think, yeah, when you start accepting things, you start ticking out the things that this is acceptable, this is not, this is acceptable, this is not, and whatever is not, you start eliminating it. I'll not allow someone to mistreat me anymore. So when you take that step, from that next moment, you'll start conquering yourself. That every time someone will disrespect you, you'll take a stand on it. You will not just pass it on as a casual comment. So that is like first steps of sorting the messes in your head. Everyone has messes. When we are growing up, everyone is messed up in their head in some way or another, because that's how society is built. But realizing that and then doing something about it makes a huge difference. That is where I think we draw a line between a common person and some person with a passionate person, because a passionate person will cross over and will think about the methods. So that would be the second step. He now have realized that these are the things that that are controlling me, and I want to control myself rather than someone else or some other things controlling me. So the second is second step would be the methods. That is like, some people go for meditation, some people go for music. Music also helps you like focus. So anything which helps you focus would help you conquer yourself, because if you can sort out your thoughts, you can sort out literally anything in the words. I believe that thoughts become things. Whatever you think, if you think it strong enough, you'll put a impact on the universe, and that thing become thought will become things. But if your thoughts are messed up, you can't. You'll make random things. You'll attract things that you don't even want. So find ways what will work for you. For every person, it's different. At times meditation works for me. At times playing with dogs like work for me, like anything. If I'm messed up, if I'm angry, if I'm pissed on something, I'll go play with dogs for some time, and they'll make me forget everything, and I can like switch back to wherever I want. So they are, you have to see, people like me or anyone can come and tell you about our journeys, give you tools, but ultimately it's you who will decide what works for you. So try lots of things. Go into meditation, go into music, go into things that makes you distract from your mind, makes you focus in one thing. It could be anything. So find out what works for you, and after once you'll see the effect of it, you can never go back. Because after that, after you'll be awake, after you'll be woken up, you'll know how to sort your things. Every time there's a mess, it's not like now it doesn't mess my head anymore. There are times when so many things, like you can't control your surroundings every time, na? So things still get, they may piss me off, but now I know how to come back to my senses, and instead of reacting, I give answer. Instead of aggressively just giving answer, now my brain is this much calmed down that it puts thoughts in a line and give me the best line that I should be saying. So even if it's a cold burn, that should be the best burn. So that is how you like your mind in a what do you say, in a necklace. Like every pearl is perfect, and every word that come out of your mouth, even if it's spontaneous, it would be perfect. It would be whatever you want to say. So yeah, find ways, try, experiment. This is the whole life is an experiment only. Traveling is a big experiment where you do new things every day. So yeah, go into things, painting and like writing also calms me down. Like whenever something is boggling my head, I'll go and I'll like write a paragraph or of whatever I'm feeling, and it's just like dilutes. And I can think, like I can rethink on that thought, whatever I'm thinking. When I'll read it again, now I'll have better thoughts. Now I'll be able to see that what kind of energy I'm absorbing, and I can change it. So that's also nice. So yeah, try everything and see what works for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Shubhra, I have one question. Like, does one get tired of traveling, or can one get tired of traveling, like doing it non-stop every day?
Maybe someone can, but I don't think I will. See, because I get tired of sitting. Like when I was sitting in offices, I was really bored, and I was thinking that, is this it? this is life. I want something new every day. So yeah, but the thing is, it's not very fast traveling also. At times you like for 15-20 days you'll make your station in a village where you are volunteering, and you'll just slowly travel the village, like explore every day for an hour or two. You'll go and you'll explore the village. So that is slow traveling also, and you don't get tired of it. It's very relaxing. It's much more relaxing than taking vacations, because in vacations, like for 2-3 days, people come and they want to see everything, go everywhere, because they have limited time. In this, you are the master of your own time. So you choose what you want to do today. Like today, I didn't go anywhere because I had this session and I had some friends. So I met them and I had, now I'm in this session, and it's okay. The day will go off without much exploration. So yeah, you don't get tired in this life. Volunteer.
Yeah, thanks, Shubhra. Nikhil joined us late, but if he has any questions, he's welcome to unmute himself and he can share his query. And our session next Saturday will be with Shubham Mansinka, and the topic will be how to travel to offbeat destinations on a budget. So I think that's an extension of today's session. And today,
all kinds of traveling people should explore, like budget traveling, volunteer traveling, luxury traveling. They should indulge in everything.
Yeah.
This is nice.
And yeah, it was good to have participants from Switzerland, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and India. And we will see you next week at 4 p.m. Thanks a lot, Shubhra, for sharing your experiences.
Thank you so much, guys. Keep living, keep being happy. Like, life is too short to be sad or to be crying. You can afford it for some time, but then eventually you have to be happy. It's just how it should be. So just go for it, whatever you want. And age or gender or race or anything which stops you, it's just an excuse for the world to stop you. So don't let it stop you. Go for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Vivek.
Thank you, Shubhra. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And we will also see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our regular editing related webinar. So tomorrow, we will be having a session on content by Soma Bhattacharya. So do join that session, and I expect the travel buffs to keep attending our travel sessions regularly. We have speakers lined up for the next few months. All the sessions are booked. So please be there. Nikhil, can you unmute yourself? We just want to hear from you.
Yes. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, Nikhil.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think you will have to watch the recording because you joined at the very end.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be sharing that, is it?
Yeah, we record our sessions and we post them on YouTube. We have a channel on YouTube. So.
Okay, great. Okay.
So, but I do hope you will join our next sessions on time to enjoy the sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry I missed. Thank you for your work and doing this. Really enjoying it.
Yeah. So just go to our YouTube channel. There are plenty of recordings of our past 10 sessions available there.
Okay, great. Okay.
Thanks everyone.